everybody, welcome back to The Library, the show where we talk about Halo lore. I'm Austin.
I'm James.
I'm Connor.
I'm Shane.
He's not with us.
No, he is.
He's right there.
Oh, yeah.
He might be a little quiet today.
He missed the gym today.
That's what happens if Shane misses one day of gym.
He shrinks.
Yes, and also gets Master Chief armor, which is awesome. Anyway, this is Jim. We love Jim.
It's so weird. That's what happens when I miss a day. I turn into him. That's clearly what happens.
Yeah, I've missed a week and I'm still here. I'm scared.
I have no idea the freak he got composed. I have no idea what will happen if I miss. I'm curious for that day.
You'll tune in from a McDonald's coffee shop.
You're right. I will tune in from.
I will do the intro so it doesn't sound like garbage, and then we'll go.
Yeah, I actually found out I was just doing it horribly wrong.
Like the setup?
Because like what I did wrong there, the microphones, the lavs, I didn't know until afterwards they have an internal storage. So I didn't have to plug it into my phone. I didn't have to use it as a microphone or anything. I could have just had my phone in one hand and the lav attached to my shirt and just doing the episode, and the audio would have been crisp.
I can't imagine what you would have looked like. You know, what you already looked like.
Oh, I looked like I was casing the place. Yeah.
Were you walking around?
No, I was sitting in the very back of the building, staring into it.
So but imagine now you just have the mic attached and you're just in the back going, Halo, 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 Halo.
Yeah.
So you were staring in the corner, not just to the restaurant.
No, I was staring to the restaurant.
Okay.
I was watching kids walking in getting 6 McChickens at a time. I was having a great time with that.
I feel like you could have said anything else.
That's what I saw.
Fair enough.
But it's fine. I was in a random McDonald's in Kansas. They were not ready for that.
He's alluding to the fact that you were like, I was watching kids and it made me know it was a really good
I missed that.
You're sitting in the corner at McDonald's.
I was the majority of the clientele
Lord.
that day.
Oh my goodness. Let's move on.
My friends, if you want to join the community and have some fun with us, you can go to JumperScape.com. That's where you can get plugged into our Discord and also find ways to support us on Patreon and other places like that, or you can get yourself a nice shirt. People have been commenting that for the last 2 episodes I was wearing the same shirt. It was not the same shirt. I just have multiple of the same shirt. Also, we do in fact have washing machines. Other than that, if you want some of that stuff, it's all available there. If you want to get yourself a nice little boost of energy, you can go to glitchenergy.com, spelled with a Y. Use the code Connor141, spelled
CONNOR141.
Excellent job, Connor, with the ASL there.
Yep. For all my people who can't see it or hear it. Dude, I'm tired. I've been up since 3:40 this morning. All right. I'm running low on energy.
And then, of course,
I need a glitch.
And then, of course, if you want to call into the show, you can go and do that at 206-278-5795. Again, that is 206-278-5795. Say your name, the show you're calling in for, because you can call into any of our shows, and you'll get 2 minutes to say whatever you want, but we'll vet everything, so, don't say anything weird. Other than that, we're here to talk about Halo and Halo accessories, mostly physical media, like the non-gaming variety, with a certain guest.
I would say, do we have any help?
We do. Mr. Sparrow Raptor, would you mind introducing yourself for us?
Hello there, everyone. Hello. So my name is Drew, or Andrew Sparrow. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good. I'm glad. We're happy to have you, because we got a lot of stuff we got to talk about, because many people may not very well know, and probably do very well know because you made the rounds on Twitter for an entire 48 hours, that you head up a certain ambitious Halo fan project that is that's seeking to change how we see 3D animation in the fan film space. Halo Raptor, am I correct?
I think, yeah, of course, yeah, you are absolutely.
You think? Okay, cool.
Go, throwing you a curveball.
That's
I was
great.
worried you're going to make him look dumb right there.
It's like, no, what?
Is this the wrong Sparrow?
I work on mods. I do a really cool modding series.
It's like, oh no, I've never made anything. I just like Halo. Thanks
like
for
I
having
pulled
me.
in the wrong person from the VC that also had the name Sparrow. That would have been hilarious.
I put my Spartan OC character up on social media. Everyone loved it.
Oh gosh, hashtag Halo Spotlight. Yeah. All right, so.
Oh my god, my dog just died. Hashtag Halo Spotlight. Please put me in an article.
No, seriously, that's really how it goes, dude.
I believe it from what I've heard.
It really is.
We love you guys if you're going to put us in Halo Spotlight again anytime soon.
You know,
just ruined the chances. It's all gone. Done.
I just ruined it.
so my friend Drew, you've been working on this project for a while. I honestly just want to get things kicked off immediately with learning a bit more about your project and the stuff that you've been doing to make it happen. I want to know, what in the world is Halo Raptor?
Well, it's quite an interesting question to ask, what is Halo Raptor? Because I can give you the very basic answer, or I can give you the really in-depth answer. And it really is just meant to be a passion project by fans, but a new story in the same universe. We want something which takes a new approach to Halo, is the way I see it. Something that feels fresh, but something that feels memorable, and you get a little bit of the nostalgia hit from it. But a new approach in the sense of just a new story, something fresh. You know, I've said that a couple of times just then, but like that is what it is, what we're trying to do here.
And it looks like you're doing a great job based on the things that you've released, based on the content that you've put out there. You have a trailer out. You have technically, I think, 2 different trailers. One that was a while ago and one that was more recent that is more revealing to what the plot is going to end up being. And then you've gotten all these other partnerships that you've announced and all these other things that you've been posting about. You must have a substantial team. Who is it that's working on Halo Raptor, bringing it to life? Because I very much, no offense, I doubt it's just you.
Oh, well, you are correct. We do have quite an intensive team when it comes to the production of the show. So obviously you've got myself as the main director of the series. We've got a writing team, which involves, 4 individuals who are massive within not necessarily within the Halo scene, but massive in terms of just their passion for the project in terms of Halo. We've got professional compositors, very, very, very talented artists as well, especially animators. We got environment developers. We've even got a bunch of technical advisors that are coming from outside sources as well. And one of our biggest ones is just the composing and the sound design that we've recently really kicked up our quality on as well since the trailer release.
That's sick. We've been trying to count how many different branches and people you just mentioned. And Connor, I don't know how you got 10 or 11?
He ran out of fingers.
No, he said we got like 4
It's way more
people.
than that.
He said we got 4 people in one
more.
section.
Okay.
Oh,
I was counting these.
Yeah.
I was trying to count the individuals, not the groups.
Yeah, because
You're looking at about 4 people on the writers team. You're looking at about 3 people on the sound design and the composing team. 1 compositor. You've got a team of about 6 animators on the project at the moment.
I'm on my toes.
And then all the advisors that we got involved as well. So real life military as well. We've got people who did their entire purpose just to make things like 3D artwork, posters. The environment team is about 3 or 4 people as well. So there's a good little team within each department of the production that's helping make this come to life.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it was quite a project to get kicked off, because that's usually in the people that we've talked to before that have worked on projects like this, or they're trying to make something substantial for the Halo community. They're talking about they don't want to get involved with other people. They want it to be their dream, so they're bringing it to life themselves. Or it's just a project that, it's just me and a couple of guys. We're making a fun little thing. We're having a good time making this mod together. We're having a good time making these cutscenes together, blah, 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 blah. But then you go up and you start recruiting all these people. Was this something that was you posted one time and people started tossing out, help? Or was this you started getting into people's DMs and talking with them that way? Or these former connections? Where did this whole thing kick off in terms of its growth?
Well, it was mainly me going out and finding artists that I thought might have an interest in the show. I mean, when we released our very first teaser, just shy of a year ago, we only had about 2 animators on the project, with our main one at the time, a very lovely chap called Lang, who does his own animations on YouTube as well. He was the one who did our teaser. So we were only about an 8-person team back then. And it was mainly just from me going out saying, look, I've got this really cool project idea. We're looking to try to do something big with it. Would you be interested in joining up? And once that teaser went out, it continued to kind of go along that route, where it was me reaching out. But we actually started to have artists come and ask to collaborate and work within the team. We actually very early on had someone ask if we did, internships. And they wanted to just simply be around watching what we were doing. And I just was firstly blown away, but also because we was a very, very young studio in that sense, where we had very little in terms of know-how of exactly what we were going to do as a studio, and the workflow still being established. But already had someone coming up to us and thinking, you're putting out really good quality stuff. I just want to see what you guys are doing. And that was quite an eye opener, just in the sense of what was possible.
Are they getting college credit?
Well, unfortunately,
wait a minute. Sorry, my brain took internship a little too literally, but
no.
But no, that is awesome.
I mean, well, that person now is on the project as one of our full-time animators as well, and they're absolutely brilliant. And they've developed their skills within the team as well. Because one of the massive things that we want to do with the production is we don't just want to bring on people who are the best of the best in that sense. Because most of the time, firstly, those people are a butt ton of money. But at the same time, because it's a really diverse team and the experience that we've got on board, it allows the people who are just starting off or have little amounts of experience to actually get proper experience with people directly on something that they both can work on. And it also teaches things such as, a more optimized team-based workflow. And all the people on the project still work on their own stuff in their free time as well, while also still contributing to Halo Raptor. So, I mean, it's a bit of a pot where people can develop their skills further as well as working on the show. It's quite incredible, actually.
I do love hearing that sort of stuff. There's a lot of folks that are trying to find ways to get actually active out there in the Halo community. There's so many that want to find a way to, like, we get offers every now and then ourselves of just, you guys are doing cool things. I would love to find a way to help. And having projects like Raptor that exist that can actually give people an opportunity to try their hand or just take their mind off of the actual legit work they're doing to work on something that's just, for good times, making something that is seeking to succeed in a big way. Are there any particular goals in mind for Raptor? Like, we know there's a season 1, but how many seasons is this going to be? How big is this project going to turn out to be? I mean, we're in the early stages and we have very little idea of what the goals are here.
Well, I can't tell you exactly how many seasons they're going to be. God, that's just giving away my entire plan. But I can at least tell you we are very focused at the moment on just putting out a good quality season 1, with episode 1 being actively worked on as we speak. In fact, after this podcast, I've got a meeting that I have to go to specifically about some environment work. So, everything's kind of moving very fast. But in terms of the scale and the goals that we have for the show, we want to basically bring back a sense of the old days of Halo, at least when I grew up, of not necessarily the red versus blue side, but a very strong narrative-based story. Something that, people can really, sink their teeth into in terms of the story, the world that they're watching, and the characters as well. But that feels Halo. Because what I believe now is that we've got a lot of stuff which, while Halo is, it's still Halo. It's very clear when you look at something and you see Halo in certain media. But there's a certain charm to the older Halos, which I think we need to kind of bring back, in a sense, to a lot of what we're seeing in modern media now to do with Halo. And that's what I want to do with Halo Raptor, is bring back that sense of old Halo.
I mean, it seems like you're doing a good job. A lot of people have been, if you look around on social media, which I'm sure you've done plenty of times, people are very interested in the vibe of Raptor. They're interested in this concept of tackling the insurrectionists and how that was all being handled. All this Oni Black Ops stuff. People love seeing Oni doing Oni things. And what's really funny to me, if people are going to be talking about Oni so much, this just really tells you how much of an impact things like Hunt the Truth had. Because in the games and in most Halo media, Oni is kind of just CIA. They don't really do anything crazy. But then Hunt the Truth is like, they're actually existential.
Oh, it's mental, some of the stuff you hear and see in the books or any kind of media about Oni, where it really starts delving into it. And we do want to try and portray a bit of that throughout the show. Not even have it like on the forefront per se, but we need to, or what we want to do is really have this idea where when you're looking at the show and you're watching the characters, you're kind of thinking, is that actually what they want to do? And we want you to really question what you're actually seeing. So you might have a bit which is really, really beautiful set piece. And you might notice one character in the background might have like a slight reaction to something that's happening in the foreground. And you would only notice it if you were looking really closely. Like even like really subtle details where it's animators putting really small like Easter eggs in the background of their scene. But instead of it just being an Easter egg, we want it to actually be symbolic of something. So we want to tell a story within a story at the same time, but make it so people delve further in for that secret information which we're trying to like breadcrumb throughout the story.
you seem like you've thought out a lot of this stuff already. Which, given that you said that this was something that's been worked on you had a teaser that dropped that you said a little over almost a year or over a year ago. So how long has this been in the works then? Because you've been sort of underground for a little while. You had that one teaser, but you weren't releasing anything really before that, and you didn't release anything up until the teaser that dropped or the full trailer that dropped. So how long has this been cooking? Like before we ever saw anything, people who are trying to make something themselves usually try to get past that first barrier of I want to create this. So when did you get past that barrier? What was the whole process for that got this whole massive project kicked off?
So in its current state, Raptor has been in production in this level for about a year. We spent a few months working on getting the actual teaser done, and it was a very short teaser, and the idea of it was meant to show the Spartans in a very intimidating way. And when you watch the teaser, you see that it's not necessarily Marines that you're facing. They're actually insurrectionists. So, it's a mishmash of army gear. You're seeing red markers on some of the characters, and it's menacing. And then shortly after we released that, we were then doing tests. We were doing tests, developing the animation side a bit more, getting a better identity built for Raptor. And the brand, generally trying to build up the quality of it. And then we obviously worked on the trailer and did a bunch of stuff, getting partnerships, going to like London Comic Con last year. But before its current state, it actually has a very unique origin where Raptor wasn't actually meant to be a full-scale animation series. It kind of just developed further into that because I am a film director trying to take that route. I wanted to try and develop it further, but it started off, and there are probably some people who will listen to this who will go, "Oh, that's I love that game in that sense." And it started off as an Arma 3 campaign.
That works. That makes a lot of sense. I think I don't know how many we used to watch Arma 3 campaigns. Like what was it? What was that Roadstar Dog Guy channel? I can't remember.
That sounds like something you and Shane did.
Is that? I thought you did it too.
No.
Oh, not bad. Well, man, now I really wish. Well, man, I'm Shane. You're here, obviously. He's talking about a YouTuber that I also remember.
Yes, I remember everything.
That is how he is, though.
I only watched one Arma YouTube, and that was Frankie 1080p something.
Shut up, Connor.
Yeah.
Yes. He knows.
So, I mean, it's no surprise to me because there's definitely elements that I've seen in Arma 3 campaign storytelling that's they're honestly occasionally it's like, why are we trying this hard? But it's also so impressive because they're trying that hard. So Raptor starting out from being just something for Arma. Now I'm actually just kind of curious. Is it almost... It's exciting, of course, to make something like this, to make a huge animation project out of a originally more simple idea. Do you sort of miss the simple idea days, though?
No, because we still do them.
No, there you go.
So obviously, originally, when we had a really small team, it was meant to be just a small-scale campaign, a bunch of friends who play Arma 3 for like a good few years together, and... there'd been some Halo mods that got added on that added some really lovely stuff, and we wanted to just play around with it a bit and just make this new story where we were playing as the characters and we were doing this really intense battle, each and every week. And eventually, it developed into making the cinematics to enhance that world, similar to how when you've got people playing D&D, you've got people who kind of do like the sketches and the animations of their sessions to make it feel more in world and seeing the characters in their rightful environment. And it just slowly developed where, well, we don't really just want to do the cinematics. What about if we actually make this into an Arma 3 machinima? And it started off initially a bit like that. And then we decided to, take it a different approach and just go, why don't we just give this a try? What else is being made at the moment? And that's how it was born. But we still do the Arma 3 side where there are communities and groups that still, obviously, there's tons of them out there that play Halo mods on Arma 3. And we basically just get to turn up to one of them, just play as the Spartans and actually go and have a laugh. And it's really immersive because the people that you play with obviously see you as Spartans, so they treat you a little bit differently. But then you can easily just walk up on someone and they're just having a conversation. And they just go quiet and they just turn and look at you. and you're just this imposing figure just in a game. But you get some funny moments where, because of the rawness of, you're just on this canvas of a map and you're playing on a scenario which is just made by some overseer, essentially. Anything can happen. It's not a scripted event. So any moment that happens in those games, especially Arma 3, it's all down to you as players. And that's where this idea of this really unique story came from, because it was all of these moments that the people who make up Raptor Team as actual characters as well experienced while playing together. So you get a sense of that camaraderie from the get-go, but also a sense of that uniqueness as well to the characters and the story in itself as well.
That's actually sick.
It's a very different approach, and I like that.
Yeah, it's a very, very different approach. Are there still... where do you guys play at? Because I know that there's people going to be listening that probably play Arma 3 that are going to want to join you now that they heard that. So is there a place that you usually go to play? Is there a massive server or something that people could get connected to?
There is. The one thing that I would say is mainly just go and have a look at YouTube and all the different units and communities that do stuff on there. Really, the way that we do it is we don't want to get a bunch of people involved in this community that we at least affiliate ourselves with as players, because this is a small group and it's not an official agreement. It's more of just like, a nice, a friendly courtesy that they let us go play. So we wouldn't want them to get flooded with people who are, fans of what we do, because it doesn't necessarily reflect what we're making as a show compared to how the gameplay is. There's definitely parts where it reflects it, but you don't want to, make a mountain out of a molehill.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, with that all being said, this is a really ambitious project. I'm wishing the best for you. And I think a lot of other people are wishing the best for you as well, because we have a little bit of an elephant in the room to address when it comes to Halo and its media. James, if you would like to put it eloquently for me.
Halo is not doing anything outside of maybe making a game. And what's so satisfying about this fan project is Halo has had multiple opportunities to put something on screen for viewing pleasure, and they've only gotten it right maybe once with Forward Unto Dawn.
Love Forward Unto Dawn.
That's the only one that I think that we can say we all liked.
Yeah.
So that's...
They did it. It was a very good movie.
Yeah.
For some people.
It felt like
might get this thing.
It actually felt like I was watching a Halo movie. Can't say the same about the TV series or Nightfall, really.
I was hoping you weren't even going to mention it.
I almost didn't. It's that forgettable.
Oh my God. You said the words.
But yeah, there's the setup for the next part of this episode.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Jay.
Plenty to talk about with that. Plenty.
Yeah.
I will say, every time I hear Halo in TV show, my heart just hurts.
Because your dad likes it, doesn't he?
He did. He enjoyed it. Like, we're sitting there and he takes the helmet off. I'm like, what is this? He's like, what? He never takes his helmet off. First episode.
And that is a lot of like our parents' like generations, I think, liked that show, because I had an aunt and like a couple other like elders I knew that were like, "Oh, Halo, I liked that show."
It's just
and it's wild to me. I mean, I never even touched Paramount Plus ever, so like the fact that like, oh, there's a reason it hasn't been taken down yet. It's my aunt and Connor's dad.
Well, hey, now it's Netflix.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
well, I think it depends. I don't think it's necessarily generational. It's more about what your understanding of Halo is, rather than being a generational thing. Because I mean, obviously it does come into play because certain generations didn't play Halo or aren't that interested. But there are people that I know that were like in their mid-30s when Halo was coming out that actually have seen the show and they're not massive fans of it. And it's because they've stayed as Halo fans, I think, is the big part of it, where it's a good sci-fi show, but if you take away it being Halo, that's what it would be. It would be a good sci-fi show. But there's so much story and narrative, and there's such a rich universe, which is what Halo is now, with all the books and the games. And unfortunately, what we got was an artist's interpretation, in my opinion, of what Halo is, rather than what Halo feels like to actual Halo fans.
I'm not sure I would even really call it a good sci-fi in my opinion, but that's just me.
I can see that argument though. And I do think that the closer you are to like the Halo franchise, the more likely you are to not like it. So I'd say that's why I guess I would still make somewhat of a generational argument because like the baby boomer generation definitely has a pretty low percentage of Halo players. But at the same time, I feel like people in their 20s who maybe just know of Halo, like maybe like still just have had someone tell them, set their expectations. Oh, the Halo show's terrible. And like that kind of stuff like spreads, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's why the Halo show, that's part of the reason the Halo show failed is because of all of the bad press it got from the fans. I'm not saying it's not justified because it's completely justified in my opinion. But in the end, like that's probably all we're going to get officially for a long time.
Which is just why.
Hopefully,
I'm praying for Halo Legends 2.
hopefully they'll take notes.
Hopefully, because this is the thing for me, right? Is that with the TV show, it's more like I want to know where the money was going, because that show had a bigger budget than most of the actual like successful shows that have been going for a long time. I mean, we're talking like what was it, like $100 million per episode?
I don't think it's a budget thing. I think it's a time thing. Crunch. You know, I think it doesn't matter how much money you throw at a project if you're not giving people enough time to make it look good.
And a few of the writing decisions that were made.
Yeah. I mean, more than a few.
But you know, the writing,
all of the writing decisions.
The writing ties into the crunch thing. It's they just have to finish the sheet.
You've got to get a script, push it out.
Exactly.
And you could tell there was in season 2 like some sort of push to try and course correct, but I don't think they had the time to fully figure out how to do that in one season. So they're like, okay, we'll just kind of get there, you know, like
somehow. And
like I think they were there was I liked season 2 more than I liked season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Still wasn't good. It still was weird. Like, but
Somehow
I could tell
John
they were
Halo has
trying for at least a bit. I still thought it was really dumb that McKee was still alive.
No idea what that's about.
I can't remember
But
the names.
that's the Covenant lady, girl, human.
Okay, yeah, that was weird.
I don't need to. I guess I don't need to dig up the plot. The point has been made, but
So, with that in mind, Drew, you're working on this animated series and all of this. Is that what you want to see from Halo, or are you wanting something like, as a fan who is actually out here executing on some form of media, are you wanting an animated series? Are you wanting them to try again with the live action? What are your desires from Halo's non-game visual media?
I think we need to start taking an approach where we're seeing realistic approaches to animation, because we're doing adaptations of things that have always been designed in a digital world. And while there can be some versions of live actions which are good, there's very little, in my opinion, which actually get it right in any live actions. And it's not a case of it being bad or it being that it wasn't possible to write it in a certain way. It's a partial viewpoint of the uncanny valley feeling of it. Like if you watch a physical motion and then you watch that to a digital film, like animation and stuff, you can tell that there's different ways that these characters would move, the way that the world feels, even the way that the camera moves in these scenes. And so when you've got a live action and you're trying to replicate certain things from, let's say the lore of the games, it's very hard to do that. But we saw a very good example of a really high quality animation series with you can do censoring, yeah?
Yes, I can.
Yep.
We have a doodly
Oh, lovely. Right, good. I won't abuse it too much then, so we'll be all right. But we saw a really good approach to that with, Secret Level. And loads of people, most people's favorite episode was the 40K episode. And that was very, very well done in the quality. And while it didn't feel realistic, it felt hyper realistic. You could see the details of the characters. You could see the quality of it. And we don't necessarily need to do live action, especially with the capabilities of motion capture, the detailing we can get on a lot of these animations now. It's very possible to do something hyper realistic and feel, and look and feel amazing.
I agree with everything you just said. Here's the thing: it's been more than 10 years since Halo 2 Anniversary came out.
Oh my gosh!
I could watch a show or movie with that animation style, because nothing in the cutscenes looks ridiculous when everything's in that style. Everything's kind of has that world around it. Meanwhile, going back to the Halo TV series, when you see Chief walking around and you see what he looks like, and then suddenly you have a CG version of him bouncing and jumping around, it looks like a cartoon. It looks ridiculous.
Why does Pablo Schreiber walk like that?
I don't know. His neck is really big too.
I mean, they also went with there was also that behind the scenes stuff that they did for the Halo. What was it? The Halo boot camp that they did? Halo show boot camp?
Yeah.
Where they showed the actors who play as the Spartans actually getting to grips with how they should move in the armor. Problem is that these are people who are, well, some of them are quite tall. These are people who are moving as regular adults in prop armor. They're not moving as genetically modified characters.
It doesn't translate well on screen.
It's just their natural. Yeah, exactly. That when you're watching a scene and it's just their natural movements, it doesn't translate well because even the characters in their natural states in a digital form still look like they're swift and agile, even in their bulky, half a ton armor. It's very hard to translate that, especially into live action when there's such a difference between how the weight of that character moves and the sound of it.
Yeah, I do wish that they found a different avenue because it is possible to translate the concept of a super soldier over screen. I mean, we all saw Captain America. We've seen other visual portrayals of things like characters from The Boys or something, where we see these superpowered characters that have this realistic approach to being these kind of just hulking beasts of people. But the difficulty definitely comes from trying to not break the cinematic level prop armor that you're wearing, so you have to be a little gentle.
And I think what's kind of as you were saying, Spartans should be between 7 and 8 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
And they never feel like that in the Halo TV show, except Pablo, because he's big. It's they should have just as something tall. As simple as getting a Marine on the that is really small and trying to just sell them as an average sized person and putting them next to somebody just to show you how big Spartans are actually supposed to be. I never really felt that size, even with Pablo. Anytime I was watching it.
No. That's the thing.
I never felt that size. Oh, pause.
I heard him laugh, and I'm like, wait a minute.
I rewinded. I was like, wait a minute. What did I say?
That's wild to me, though, because Halo obviously has an appealing visual style that could translate really well. Connor, stop dropping things.
I missed. I tried to catch it.
So the thing is that with Halo, you mentioned Halo 2 Anniversary's cutscenes. I would also want to bring up Halo 4's. The actual rendered cutscenes, because specifically the last one when Chief finally gets that armor taken off, and that whole scene, the one shot that will stay with me forever is definitely that shot of Palmer looking up at this man, and he's just huge, he is towering over her. That immediately changes a lot of the perspective of what you've been doing that whole game. That you have been the super soldier that has been absolutely wiping the floor on the battlefield. And then you get stuff like Halo Wars 2. Same company, Blur, not Method. Method did Halo 4, but Blur steps back in for Halo Wars 2. And again, Jerome looks like a walking tank, moves like a walking tank. So it is possible. So do it.
like that scene where they're on the bridge and you see Jerome walk in with, right next to Cutter. And then they plug Isabel into the console. That entire scene where you just see Jerome in the background and he's just this looming, menacing hunk of metal, essentially, with his arms crossed. While Cutter's doing his big speech to everybody about, half a ship, but I see family, that entire spill of it. You just still see Jerome in the background, just looking over everything. And he is menacing as, like, his height, he feels menacing.
Mm-hmm. So I actually want to take it back to Raptor for a second here. Halo is very much its visual storytelling. It is also its just average run-of-the-mill storytelling on how do you portray characters, how do you portray the world, the environment. What is the priority with Raptor? Is it telling the story of fighting the insurrectionists? Is it telling the story of the Spartans? What are the priorities that you have in telling this story?
So our long-term goal is we want to tell a story about the universe, more so, of Halo. So there will be smaller story arcs that you'll see throughout the show. But when you watch Raptor as a team, while you will see a bit of development from them, they are a vessel for you as viewers, is how we want to try and develop it. So the same way as when you played the games, you saw Noble Team and you played as 6, and he was the vessel for you as a player, and Noble Team was like, they enhanced that team feeling, and you got these character developments, and you had the amazing sacrifices that he pulled. Or even playing as Chief in the mainline Halo games, and you had, your supporting characters like Johnson, Cortana, Captain Keyes, all those characters, while they were very small story arcs in some cases and much bigger story arcs for others, it was always individuals, and then the team kind of brought together the greater narrative. With what we're doing is we want Raptor to be, as a whole, the vessel for the viewers going forward. So when you're watching Raptor Team, you're watching them deal with the environment and dealing with the tasks that they get assigned rather than it being the internal issues. But we still want to show a bit of the arc development of these characters in Raptor and have the narrative around them pushed forward by the supporting characters. So it's not just, you're not focusing just on Ron or Archie or Jack or Kyra, who are all the names, by the way, of the Raptor Spartans. You're watching Raptor, you're watching the team, you're seeing their little, back and forth between each other, you're seeing the banter that might go on between them, but ultimately you're seeing them as a team deal with everything as they go through the story.
I love that approach. It's sort of taking the first of all, I think anybody loves watching a team-based story, but also a universe/location-based story. One of my favorite parts of Halo Reach is that Reach, the planet, is the main character. Like, everything about what's happening on Reach is influencing every other character. It is treated as its own thing. And seeing how this approaches, I can see why people are getting excited. I can see why people should be getting excited. So before I hop back over one final time to you and get this all wrapped up so we can wrapped anyway, before we do all of that, don't worry about me.
It's okay, don't have to fake a laugh.
Connor. What were you doing?
He was looking at the water heater.
I was slowly deadpanning to the screen after that joke.
Okay, so Connor, you have interacted with the least with this franchise.
I've seen the trailer, or
not Raptor.
Again,
the franchise.
Again, been up since 3:40 with barely any naps in between.
So the franchise, Halo, not very many of the games. You haven't seen every movie yet, that whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you are basically the target audience right now of Microsoft.
All right.
So what would it take to get you interested in visual media from Halo?
Badass action scenes.
I thought you were going to say brutes, and I was going to be like, Connor.
I don't know what he's got planned.
They tried that with Infinite. It didn't really work.
It didn't. They tried it with the show.
Greg.
And we still don't know who that brute is.
He was a brute.
I don't want to go like, yeah, brutes, but I honestly, what'll bring me in is cool action scenes. It's just details about weapons, and like you said, banter is pretty cool too. Just seeing banter in between like soldiers and Marines and whatnot. It's fun to witness. I'm struggling.
No, it's fine. So I can work off of that.
No, keep talking.
He's been on the spot.
Because basically, honestly, you bring up a really good point, is that Halo, yes, it takes itself super seriously, but the best points of Halo, the best examples of Halo's media, the original trilogy, Legends, they all have moments of comedy, and that is well-timed. We're not talking like Marvel jokes. We're talking like well-timed, this is a nice little alleviation from the tension before everyone dies.
I feel like we don't get
That man is
enough-
playing Galaga.
Okay, but that was early days. When it was done the first time, that was hilarious.
Say that again.
Oh gosh. I think we're a team. We're like Raptors. Say that again.
You guys are gonna want to come look at this.
Anyway,
We just sporadically say cliche Marvel movie lines.
Have like an AI say like, "Oh no, I deleted System 32." And it's like, what? Gotcha.
yeah, that just happened.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I'm behind on Marvel.
You just lost every bit of information we were trying to
Yep.
obtain. Why?
So now I want to toss it back over to you one more time to wrap this all up. People are going to get excited about this project. They should get excited about this project. They should follow it as closely as they possibly can, and they should look forward to its release. So where can they do all of that? Where can they stay connected? Is there a Discord? Is there a website? Is there a YouTube channel? Is there blah, 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 blah? How can they get connected?
So, currently at the moment, we've got a couple of places where people can get connected with the show as well as the team itself. So obviously everything in terms of what we do visually, as well as any of the episodes we release or any of the behind the scenes content, will go up on the YouTube channel, which is Sparrow Films, which has the handle @official Sparrow Films. And you can find all of our content on there. We have a Discord server. It's our actual main production hub as well as our community server. So this is where anyone on the production team and any of the fans as well can come and get involved. We do game nights. We show behind the scenes content. We generally just get involved with the community if as best we can without giving too much away, because we want people to be excited for what we're doing and not know the entire plot before we release an episode. And then we've also got our Twitter. X as it's called now. I'm sorry, I'm never going to get used to not calling it Twitter.
We just call it Twitter X, not going to lie. Or at least I do. I call it Twitter X. Twitex, sure.
Twitex. You can go to Twitex. And you can see all of our little posts as well that we put on there. So we do actually release some of our videos, such as the trailer. We put that on Twitter as well. We do have a Patreon where if people want to support the project a bit more closely. It's more just for people who want to go that extra mile. We don't try and hide things behind anything on there because firstly, we want to just show everyone what we're doing. And we have a website on the way, but we want it to look slick. We don't want it to just put up a Wix website. We want something of high quality where people will go to it and go, oh, that's nifty. Almost like a bit of a teasing website almost.
Sweet. Okay. That's fantastic. That's awesome. Yeah, I'll make sure that everyone, if you're watching on the YouTube, you'll have all the links right there on screen. If you're not, descriptions as usual. Those are going to be the places where you can find all this stuff. So make sure you tune into all of that. You're not going to want to miss this project. It's moving rather quickly. Do you have an estimation on when we'll possibly see an episode 1?
So our current timeline is soon TM.
Classic.
So we are aiming to try and get a majority of the work done for this year, but we've all got to bear in mind at least that this project is an unfunded production and it's made by passionate people that all have their own lives as well. The way that we do it is your real life always comes first, and especially your own passions as well. We don't try and push the team as a hard focus to finish things or try and put intense deadlines down. But we are on track for hopefully either release late this year or maybe a little tease into the episode this year, but definitely a release next year if we can't get something done this year.
Sweet.
Really
all right.
nice. Austin bites me if I miss an episode.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this to come out.
He's a very bitey person. I do know your pain.
I guess this is just my canon now. I bite people.
Yeah, I'm glad I got a chair in between me and this man right now.
So, my friends,
I'm missing a Shane, but oh well.
It's fine. I would punch him. Anyway, for everyone else here, that's going to do it for this week. We're going to head over into our Patreon segment here in a second. So if you want to stick around for that, if you're watching on YouTube, it's going to just kind of cut off for you as usual. But unless we get stuff in the PO box, I changed my mind on that bit. But if you're on audio, we'll see you in a little bit. Otherwise, if you want to go to JumperScape.com and get connected to the community and find our other ways you can get plugged into what we're doing, you can do all of that there on the website. Go to glitchenergy.com, use the code Connor141 spelled
CONNOR141.
and that'll do it. And my friends, next week continues this guest spree that we've got going on. I don't even know who's up next.
Yeah, me neither.
There's just a lot. We got a lot of people coming up. You're not going to miss any of these episodes. Spread them around because there's a lot of really creative folks out there in the community, as we have seen today, that you guys are not going to want to miss out on. Any last words of encouragement for filmmakers out there, Mr. Drew?
My main advice for anyone wanting to go into film is going to be, if you have something that you really want to specialize in, be it cameras, sound, lighting, writing, directing, anything like that, people have their own things that they want to try and do in the industry. People are going to try and support you if you find the right people. And if you do find the right team, there's some of the best contacts you can actually have. And it's the thing that's actually allowed me to even get to this point, is finding the right people and the right filmmakers that have actually given me that advice. If you've got that passion, just go for it. If you want to learn something, learn it as best you can. But you're going to have to put a bit of the work in because it is a very competitive industry, but believe in it.
Fantastic. I know that's going to encourage at least 2 people calling it.
Me and Connor.
I was thinking 5.
Anyway, my friends, thank you so much again for joining us, Drew. It's been such a good time. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out from Raptor. I think a lot of people should be looking forward to it. Otherwise, my friends, tune in next week for our next guest, and we'll see you then.
The library was produced and published by JumperScape Audio. Funding was provided by our fantastic patrons on Patreon. If you enjoy the show and wish to support JumperScape's future projects or get some sweet benefits, join our Patreon at patreon.com/JumperScape or become part of this truly special community at discord.gg/JumperScape. Thank you for your listenership, and we hope you enjoyed.